welcome to another episode of FESS. Joining me today is Mr. Onome Edgeworth from the Vessel, a charity organization under CORI. Now, they're mainly focused on youth development, but first, let's see what's on health and fashion.
Dieting and striving for fashion skinny. Seriously restricting your food intake for the sake of looking fashion skinny can actually cause your metabolism to slow down and your body to store more fat. While young adults who don't eat regularly may see an initial decrease in body size, by the time they hit 30 years old, their metabolism will be so slow that even looking at food that wrong way can cause weight gain. Along with a slowdown of metabolism, people who don't eat end up snacking, often taking in excess sugar, which is vile for the body and causes bloating and swelling.
Welcome back from Health and Fashion. Sitting with me now is Mr. Onome Edgeworth, the program manager from the Vessel under the charity company CORI. Onome, welcome to FESS.
Thank you.
Now, you are with the Vessel, which is also under CORI, a community charity organization. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Well, tell me more about your work. What exactly does it require for a program manager?
Well, with the Vessel program, we have brought young artists, well, not so young, some of them, but young artists over from London to work in Gambia. So whilst I'm here, I'm overseeing the program, working with all the partners that we've got over here, some amazing partners, and just making sure that the program is running smoothly. For some of our teachers, they're professionals, not teachers. So I'm supporting them. I work as a teacher. I've worked as a teacher for 10 years. So I'm supporting them in working with young people, just ensuring that everything's running well and running smoothly and everyone's benefiting.
And what's the age group of the young people you work with?
It's ranged. Before we came out here, they said it would have been 15 to 22. We got here, we've worked with from about 11 to 26. So it's been a big group.
And who are your partners?
Working with YMCA, both the one local to here and in Birkama, and we're working with Eben Jam Theatre. And next week we'll be with the Marcus Garvey Foundation.
Okay, so how long are you in the Gambia for? How long does the program last?
The program's been about 3.5 weeks. I've only got 4 more days here.
4 more days?
Yeah.
Now, so far, what have been the toughest challenge you've faced? Because first of all, is this your first time in the Gambia?
No, I came here when I was 11 years old. And then I came here in December.
Okay.
And I really love it here. My mum's planning to move here. So she's the spearhead of this program. I'm working with her. It's really started out as a family business, and she's been running it for 10 years. And as we've got older, we've all started working with her. So yeah, she's trying to move here to build a youth program here or a youth centre here. And this is really the beginning of our work in the Gambia.
Now, what are some of the tactics you use to get some of the young people be more confident and basically express themselves better?
I think the main thing for us is just the basic communication. We encourage everyone to speak well, to speak confidently at every point. When you're speaking to someone, you say your name, say it proudly. If you're going to speak in front of anybody, stand up, stand straight, be confident, be proud of who you are. But with our program, we've been running a communication and leadership program, a creative writing program, and a sports and personal development program. And in all of them, the teachers place a major emphasis on talking in front of the group. What have you learned? Stand up and tell me. Show me what you've learned.
So that encourages them to really participate more.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about relating it to your real life, standing up and giving an example, always becoming a teacher as a young person and empowering yourself.
All right, so what happens at the end of the program? What happens to these youths that you're training or developing? Is there any way of communication that prolongs?
With us, with the Vessel?
Yes.
Yeah, we hope to continue working in Gambia. And the way our organisation started is I was a young person when it started. I was, I think, 12 years old. And I was trained in various arts. We had a different artist come in every month. We learned arts like drawing and batik, and then dance and drama and drumming. And over the years, as we became more and more experienced, we became the teachers. And now there's a workforce of about 20 people that started out as young people in our service and became teachers and became employees, essentially. And that's the dream here, to train a workforce of artists, and educators and sports people that can come back and want to give to the community as well.
Okay, now you said it's something that started with your family.
Yeah.
Now, what was the main motivation? Why did you decide to start the vessel?
Well, the vessel was started by me and my mother and a few of us that have worked in Africa for the past 5 years with our other organisation, CORI. We found a way to run a project in East Africa every summer, and we take about 12 young artists or sports people out to run a summer camp. And it was a lot of fun. We really loved it, and it was a good experience for us. I think we always learned more than the young people, but we always felt that it wasn't long term enough. It was like you go there, you do some good stuff, it's nice, everyone smiles, gets certificates, and then they go home, and there's no long term development. So with the vessel, we were looking at how can we make this impact that we're having. There is definitely a good impact and a strong impact,
yeah.
but how do we make it bigger and how do we make it last? And which is why we started the vessel. And we looked at it and thought, we want to find a base. We want to find a few countries that we can stay in, a few countries that we find really strong partners in that are always willing to continue our work and provide us with enough young people to impact. And we found that in Gambia, which is very exciting for us.
Right, how did you choose Gambia exactly? That's what I wanted to know.
How did we choose Gambia? I remembered it always fondly as from coming here as a kid. My mum always was like, I love Gambia, I want to go back. And she's been wanting to buy land. She's Nigerian. She's lived in London. She was born in London, then moved to Nigeria, lived there for about 15 years, and then came back to London. And has always been like, I want to live in Africa. I want to live in Africa when I'm older. Nigeria is so chaotic. I'm not sure if I'm ready for Nigeria, but somewhere in Africa.
It's a much bigger country, isn't it?
It's a much bigger country, many more people, and I think we're a good bit louder than Gambians. But she came up to Gambia. Someone said, well, go and see Gambia. And she found a plot of land here and thought, yeah, this is going to be home. So let me find a way to work in this country as well.
Now, how would you compare your experiences of working here in Gambia and other countries?
Gambians are very forthcoming with their talents. I think as soon as we've started, we said who dances, who sings, or who's ready to get on stage, and people put their hand up straight away. Right. We found in Tanzania and Kenya and Zanzibar, they would just sit there looking at us because their culture is a bit more maybe conservative. And not to say they were any less talented, we found some amazing young talents there. But it took us a little bit longer to get them comfortable and confident. Whereas here, they were just up and ready to get involved.
That's actually quite shocking because I've always been under the impression that Gambians are the most conservative people.
Oh, really?
In the world.
No, I think the complete opposite. Coming from London as well, where no one wants to do anything, especially with young people, they sit there like that and they don't want to get involved. You ask, who does this? No one will answer you. And you come here and people are very aware of their talents and ready to show.
Now, what talents have you developed through the vessel or your time, working in that organization?
Well, I've worked as a teaching creative writing for years. I started out as a performance poet. I won some London-based slam poetry competitions and worked as a poet in residence at some of the museums in London and really loved performing. And as I'd done more teaching, I fell in love with teaching and working with young people, particularly with young African men and African and Caribbean men in London. As I said, that's my community and a group of people that I feel are really struggling. Yeah. I feel like writing and having the ability to write is very powerful. I feel like it's a wonderful way to express yourself and also vent. I know when I'd had a hard day or something had happened and I was a troublesome child and I put myself in some silly situations. Writing always made me feel a lot more calm and got me out of some stuff that I would have got myself into without it.
Brilliant, and I'm sure you might have been the inspiration for your mom to start the whole organization.
Yeah, I think we were. I think me and my brother, my mum worked as a dancer and a storyteller in London for years, and then she ran an organization. She started CORI based on this collection of artists that she used to manage, and they were all African artists or Caribbean artists, and then she had them working in schools and prisons and all over the country. And a lot of them had these kids, me being one of them, my brother being another one, who were doing okay in school, who were quite talented and very academically capable, but were messing up. Me and my brother gave my mum a hard time. We getting excluded and kicked out of schools. And she was like, what do? I need to do something for my own kids. I'm busy saving other people's children, I'm not working with my own kids. So she started CORI. as a weekly program to work with the kids from within that organisation. And it's grown and grown and grown over the last 14 years to a youth service that's open pretty much 7 days a week. We see hundreds of young people every week. After school program, alternative education programs, many different art classes. And so, yeah.
Corey Haven and all those one-on-one personal mentoring. Yeah. What does the word Corey mean?
Curry, so you'll see these shells here, cowrie shells.
Cowrie
shells, yeah.
Okay, we call them, okay.
So how do you say it?
Cowrie shells.
Cowrie, yeah, it was actually a Senegalese man.
We have a name called Petao.
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 Yeah,
I'm not good
exactly.
at languages.
That's the local name for it here.
Okay, cool.
Right.
So yeah, as you know, these were used for divinity.
These ones, exactly.
You have the same, the real ones. And they're used for divinity, which is looking into the future.
Yeah.
And curry is about young people. Young people are the future. So as my mom had this idea, it was one of her friends, a Senegalese man, who said curry, and it became curry in our English tongue.
And when was Corey established?
It was started 14 years ago.
14 years ago. And currently, how many staffs or volunteers do you have under the organization?
Well, I should know off by heart. We have about 30 people that come in and out throughout the week. Not all of them paid staff.
Okay, most are just volunteer?
About 10 of them are volunteers.
Okay.
And that's been before we had a massive mentoring scheme. We've downsized it a little bit, but we had up to maybe 40 people coming in and out of the building throughout the week.
And currently, how many people are you guys, how many young people are you mentoring?
Up to 300 a week.
300 a week?
We view everything as mentoring, I think.
And you started with 100?
We started with 30.
You started with 30, and now it's 300?
Yeah.
Wow, and I'm sure the goal is 1,000 eventually.
The goal is thousands, but we don't want to get too big. We like to really have heart in our work. We feel like it needs to be a close-knit organisation to keep that heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want to expand and impact as many people as possible, but the impact is still being done if someone's been taught by us and is an artist or a musician and they're making albums and whatever. That's still a part of our work. If we've inspired them enough to do stuff that inspires other people, then our work is spreading and we're happy.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. You've been an inspiration.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on the one-to-one interview. Coming up next is the news that is Lubez.
The veteran news broadcaster of Gambia Radio and Television Services, DRTS Radio, Alhaji Mansour Njai, passed away on the 11th of August 2015. His death caught us all in a shock. He was such a dynamic man in the media, well known and recognized in his field. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of FESS. Don't forget to tune in again next week. See you soon.